All right. Welcome to the live. Y'all, this is day 30 of me going live. So I just got to celebrate that right quick. So, hand claps for me. I'm acknowledging myself. I feel great about it. I do. I got to have a journal session about it later, but not tonight. So, solitude heals and isolation steals. Solitude heals and isolation steals. This is how to reclaim yourself, understanding the quiet power of solitude. Welcome. My name is Dr. Kim of Align with Dr. Kim, where we heal burnout, where we create balance so we can express brilliance and embrace our well being. Tonight is the night where we talk about embracing solitude. We're going to talk about why it's so scary sometimes. I know some of you right now are saying, no, I really can't find myself being by myself a lot. And some of you may not have ever thought about it. It's like, man, I'm always around people or things or stuff. I really don't spend much time by myself. And you may wonder why that is. If you're doing some introspection on that, or if that struck a nerve, I definitely want to offer you some comfort on tonight. And I want you to tap into the superpower of solitude as well. So, as high achieving introverted women, we sometimes get disconnected from ourselves and overwhelmed because we're giving. We're doing so many things, and that can cause us to have some challenges with things. Now, being in a space where we can learn to embrace what solitude brings us will help us when we are continuing, when we are expanding into other things, when we are learning to accept ourselves so we can believe bigger, so we can reach higher, all of those type of things. It's going to take a season of solitude before you enter into any other level a lot of times. And even after you've come out of something, you need that season of solitude. It's a gift given to you, and hopefully I'll be able to change your mind about it and help you see that after tonight's live. My question for you, because community happens in the comments, what you read, what you say can change lives. That is also another superpower you have. How can you incorporate more solitude into your daily life? How can you do that? What are some ways that you can do that? That's my question to you on tonight. And I also have a challenge for you at the end here as well. That's the question. So I want to make sure we can see over here on our Facebook family as well. Welcome. I definitely see you in the comments here. I want to say hello. Okay, Dr. Rachel. Hey, let's go into the room. You're going to hear that. We got it. Yes, we got it. Alrighty. So I know that the sound is working. Everything is great with that also. Now, let's talk about the first point here is I told you about the power of solitude, that there is power in you being to yourself, being with yourself, I should say. And let's just reframe the language right now. You're never alone. You are with yourself. Isn't that kind of like a rude thing to say? I'm all by myself. And then when you think about it, it's like, I'm by myself. That's pretty great. Now, when you're with yourself, when we change our language and we say we're with ourselves, it gives us a chance to renew, to reconnect. For a high achieving person, it's going to give you time to reflect, also to recharge as well, and so you can become more creative. Yesterday I talked about being create with taking rest to help you become creative. You can also increase your creativity by incorporating solitude into your routine and with the things that you are doing. So, recharging your batteries. What does that look like? It means stepping away from the day-to-day things. The distractions and the demands of the day will keep your mind in a certain place. A lot of times that's how people get trapped in the day-to-day, is that that's all they do all the time. And when you don't change up your routine, when you don't put in breaks from those things, that's when burnout happens. That's when you start on the peak of burnout. Even if you're tempted because the things that you're doing is feeding you and is making you feel good, you learn to respect the way you do things. You respect your body, your time, your needs, and your limits as well. So you know you can come in with full force as much as you need to, but after you've had some rest. But the point of recovery is so you can start again fresh. Nobody wants to be running off of fumes. There's no way you're going to reach your purpose on fumes. That's not giving your best. That's not providing your best. There was a quote I was going to say, I forgot it. But definitely the concept that I'm wanting to share with you is running off of fumes will not put you in position to serve at your best. It's also going to reduce your stress, meaning that you don't have so many deadlines to meet, things like that. When you're in a place of solitude, when you have taken your mind off of work, you're able to reconnect within yourself, to ask yourself, how do I feel about today? What did I feel great about today? The things that you can congratulate yourself for. I think everyone should do that. If you have a daily reflection and a weekly reflection moments, you should reflect on points in your day of the things that you did well, the things that you liked. The more we appreciate things and give gratitude for those things, the more things come to us to be grateful for. So that's a gratitude practice that's involved in it, with having that time to refresh, to reconnect, and also to pretty much revitalize yourself and your mindset. When you're able to disconnect from the demands of the day, it helps you flow in your creativity better, because you're able to have focused thought on either problem solving or coming up with possibilities, I should say. I don't like to look at it as problem. It's like opportunities available instead of problem solving. I like changing the language on things, if y'all hadn't noticed by now. But having that mental clarity, it gives you that chance to gain perspective on things. A lot of times we can't see how far or how close we are to something because we have not stepped away. Our perspective is only one sided. There are so many multiple ways you can look at a thing. We are in a world where we have, like, this is one of my remotes here. If I'm always seeing in this point of view, like I just changed the color of it, I can't even see the colors that I'm changing. I'm just feeling around, I'm just shooting at the hip. But if I turn this toward me, to my field of sight, I can change it to where I want it to go. So that way I can put things where I need them to be placed. That's just an example of perspective in that aspect. But think about when we are looking at different challenges that come to us on a day-to-day basis. And if you're a person, you have a big role, you have a big job, you have a impact, you have things that you're supposed to do basically before you leave the earth, and you know that and you feel it, that there's this grand thing that you're involved in, that it is essential for you to provide your best. You want to make sure you're able to have and gain perspective, that you're able to gain insight on things through solitude, through being quiet, through getting away from your normal environments. Do you know your nervous system is wired for the environment that you're in? You can stay in a certain room all day, every day, and things will just go as they go, because your brain is trained to focus on certain things. But say, for example, you go and you take a walk, you go walk outside, you go get you a sip of water in a new place. This is why we go to different restaurants. This is why we go to different coffee shops, to get ourselves in new environments so we can have a new perspective. That's an activity of solitude with going out in public in a different restaurant with yourself. I recommend you take a notebook because you're going to get some ideas. You may even come across people or overhear conversations. You're in an environment, you're picking up on different things and you start to gain ideas. You just let your mind go as far as thinking of the opportunities available versus problem solving. I'm going to be open to different opportunities, different possibilities. Having a mind like that will open you up towards getting those ideas and helping that creativity as well. So we're still talking about how powerful solitude is. And I just talked about how it's going to help with your creative thinking and you're giving yourself the space to imagine things. It's also going to help you with reconnecting to yourself. Whenever I've felt disconnected from just within, things just had no flavor at all. The things that I used to enjoy did not. I didn't even have the language for it before, but I know when I went through my burnout experience, that's what was happening to me because I was pouring from an empty place. I had nothing else to give but the cup that I was serving from. And that's a no-no in the first place. You're supposed to serve from your overflow or serve from the saucer that the cup sits on, meaning that the output of your life and the outpouring of your life, you consistently pour into yourself or seek places where you're filled, places, people, things, activities, even solitude. I want to put that seed out there that yes, you can be filling your cup in solitude. We're going to talk about, if you're still like, man, this sounds so scary. If you're shaking in your boots, we're coming to that point next. We are. But being able to reconnect and refill within yourself when you step away, it gives you a chance to really look at what you're thinking, to really process how you're feeling with things, process different experiences, looking at how you can manage things better. And also you get to look at yourself and see what you like, the your interests that you have, the different values that you have. Going out on self-care dates, I highly recommend those. I know there are a lot of popular videos and a lot of popular articles and content out there about solo dating and self-care dates or the artist dates, creative dates, all of those type of things. I just love it all because you can go and have so many adventures, have fun, get to try things out as well and see how you like it. And like I said, the relief in this is there's no pressure. There's no pressure from people that were around you in other environments. Some of you all need to make it your business to start going and increasing your exposure in different environments because the people that are around you have not been able to pour into you adequately. And you know exactly what I mean when I say that. You know exactly what I mean. So even when you start to find, wow, I'm more productive when I'm with myself, when I can give myself a different perspective. I can really sit and think about how I feel. Because if you are always in a space of, I got to do this, I got to do that. I'm thinking about all the things that I have to do. I'm thinking about what's going to happen when this person sees this. I'm thinking about, and you're trying to calculate each and everything. That's stressful. My brain won't even go there with all of the examples because it's stressing me out. And my body and my brain is like, no, we're not going to do that. They know what you're talking about. And you do know what I mean. So giving yourself the advantage of ceasing all of those type of things, the demands, the responsibilities, to let your mind rest from it and take a break from it. And yes, that is possible in a place of solitude. You have to give yourself time, a chance to think through things, to feel through things. When people choose solitude, sometimes it looks like on the outside isolation, Like I said in the beginning, just because a person is by themselves or with themselves, it does not mean they are isolated. They may be in between something, they may be processing, and some people can process things better without the input of others. And that's just the way they operate. So, being in a space of isolation, like I said, being isolated is it will steal from you. And what I mean by that is it's coming from within a place that is discouraged, depressed, because you are stealing the opportunity for other people to pour into you. And you're also stealing in a sense of you're not giving other people the gift of yourself. There are good things on the inside of you that you can share, that you're meant to share. There are things that you can say, do. There are gifts and talents in you that need to be expressed. And when you're isolated from a place of being discouraged or thinking that I can't help anyone or no one can help me, those are all false things, very false. And so there's a heaviness with the isolation versus the solitude. Solitude will, like I said, solitude is healing. The solitude heals and the isolation steals. So, what is the healing part of the solitude? The healing part of the solitude is just like we said, with you're being poured into, you're seeking opportunities, you're listening, you're waiting, you're meditating, you're doing mindful things, you are journaling, you are opening yourself up to new experiences. That is a deepness and a richness that a lot of people do not get into. And why? Because a lot of people are afraid of their own thoughts and their own feelings. I know, right? It's like it's in your head, it's in your body. Why would we be afraid of it? When I hear people say, I can't stand to meditate, even if it's just for 2 minutes, because I don't want to be alone with the thoughts in my head. Discomfort tolerance is a skill I want you to look up. I want you to learn how to delay gratification. It helps you to delay gratification, yes. And that means you're willing to put off wanting something right now and you're focusing on the long run. Well, even learning how to put things off so you won't be instantly gratified, you will be tolerating some discomfort and some distress with those things. That's what the heavy thoughts and the fearful feelings or the big feelings, because there may not be fear all the time, it may be excitement, but being able to sit with that requires a level of support. Number one, this is why I said go search out these things. There are other channels, other content resources for those things. If you have questions about those things, by all means drop me some comments below and we can talk about them as well. But discomfort tolerance, I know, has been a game changer for me. Just learning how to manage my thoughts, learning how to manage my feelings, that is a huge skill for a person that is running a company, running a household, a person who is involved in deep relationships, meaningful relationships, and also at the same time managing other people, managing other companies, other accounts, knowing how to manage your emotions so they are not taking over or overwhelming you. Yes, and we learn to do that. We tap into a deeper level of thinking and healing in solitude with ourselves. And like I said, you can always for invite people that can help you into your life to give you the support that you need, because sometimes, yeah, it gets to be a bit much, but we can grow from those things as well. I hope this is helpful so far. We're in the space of talking about overcoming the fear of solitude. That's what we have on the screen here. Why we talked about, why is it so fearful to because they're big and they're heavy and you have not had the training. That's all. It's a skill set. Just like people say, well, I just can't do it. It's like, well, how can you? How can you do it? And there are different skill sets that you can do. There are different things that you can do to even overcome the fear of solitude. So I know some of you were like, man, I could never go sit out in a coffee shop by myself. I got to have my headphones on. I got to be stimulated. I can't notice what's going on around me. I got to have coffee, every 2 hours, things like that. I want to say to you that you are bold, you are brilliant, and you are bright. And your brain is too wonderful to have such negative, depressive thoughts about yourself and what you're doing. You are too bright to have so many belittling thoughts in your mind about yourself. And I want you to choose to challenge those thoughts. Challenge, why do I feel uncomfortable when I go out? What am I thinking about other people? Why do I care what they think? Why how can I deliver myself and give myself over to opening myself up to a new experience, something that I can possibly enjoy? How can I start to enjoy my time with myself? Because we just talked about the benefits. You refocus your thoughts on the truth. This is good for me. This is beneficial. I need to get out of the day to day so I can really unlock the gifts and the talents and the creativity and the opportunities that are available to me. And giving solitude a chance will get those things to you. Understanding how to set boundaries, meaning that you're protecting your time and your space for those things as well. That could be a blockage for doing it. Well, Dr. Kim, I can't do it. I have so much stuff to do. I am going to tell you now, you are someone that needs to be very intentional about that. Choosing the time blocks and the spaces where you can do those things, and letting the other people around you know that, hey, I'm trying something new. I need to have some time here so I can do this meeting. You don't have to tell anybody it's a meeting with yourself. You got an important meeting to do, and you need those downloads. You need that freshness as well with that. Now, the other thing is learning how to create a sacred space. I have learned that we have spaces around us all the time that help us to feel more comfortable with solitude, but we just may not notice it. Like my car is like the number one place that I think of, because I don't have to get in my car and think about, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to go here. I can sit in my car in silence and enjoy it. I can practice my breathing. I don't have to, because soon as I step across my threshold, I know there are going to be tasks and things that I have to transition over into doing. Sometimes I go straight into doing those things, and sometimes I will give myself a chance to have like a 15-minute break. Those are one of the rules that I give myself so I can be my best at every session that I present myself to. So, I have a few tips for you about how to create sacred space. The first thing, before you choose your space, I want you to think about what you're designating this space for. Before you design a space where you're going to have your time of solitude, I want you to think about, what will you be doing in that space? Will you be journaling? Will you be praying? Will you be meditating? Will you just be listening to like a guided visualization practice? Will you just be listening to music? Will you be knitting or crocheting or doing some type of art activity? What is it that you really want to try, that you want to do? Are you wanting to promote more creativity out of that session? Like, or are you just, I want to start practicing stillness? And that's okay. I recommend for that you cut off all your devices. If your sacred space is your bedroom and you got a TV in there, hide your remote. Have an automatic timer on it when you do turn it on so it can go off by itself, or learn to just turn it off. We have to learn to step away from so many devices as well, because we're always around them, we're always touching them. So separating yourself from that, giving yourself the pen and the paper, or being able to just speak out loud into yourself, because you can do that as well, where you are developing your inner dialogue. You're talking out loud to yourself, you're speaking things out loud. If writing is not something that you can do or that you think you want to try, you can literally go into a space and just start talking, asking questions, praying out loud, speaking out loud, saying the things that you need to say, saying the things that you need to hear with yourself as well, and practicing your breathing. So, yes, choose what you want to do in that space before you pick out a space. Some of you already know now what space that you want to use with that. And this is still the question that I have for you, even with that challenge that I gave. Hey, Brother Spice, hello. Thank you so much for joining. How can you incorporate more solitude into your daily life? You should have something thinking, some type of idea of what you want to do now and how you want to do it with those things. I do hope you try that out. I do hope you find that solitude is your space to pour back into yourself, and you experience that level of healing that I know God has for you, so you can be refreshed, renewed, and connected to your core and the true things that matter and that are meaningful and that will move you forward in life. If you have made it this far in the live, thank you so much. I want to encourage you to like this video. Thank you for your comments as well. I check the comments from time to time. We got Nigeria in the house tonight. Thank you so much for coming. I know it's a whole nother time on the other side of the world right now. So, yes, thank you so much for tuning in right now. I know I'm about to lay it down. I'm about to go to bed. So, because it's been a long day, but we started off celebrating. I want to invite you to follow my channel on YouTube. I am at Align with Dr. Kim. So the channel name is Align with Dr. Kim. It's at Align with Dr. Kim on Instagram. And that's the same channel throughout, with all my social media handles and things like that as well. I am on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, but mainly on Facebook and Instagram. And of course, like I said before, this is day 30 of the videos that I have on YouTube. I will be continuing that. We'll be tweaking a few things here and there. My time in solitude and just listening to God. I have learned things. I've gotten clarity, direction, creativity, courage in those moments. I think it's very important for us to give ourselves over to that, especially when God is so available, so ready to help us. But if we're not speaking, if we're not taking that time with Him, it's like a missed opportunity. And those things start to affect us on more levels than one. Yes, it's going to affect you spiritually when we neglect that time of solitude, but it's also going to affect us physically and mentally as well. A lot of people during the holiday season have so much mental stress, so much emotional stress on them, and they're thinking they can't afford a vacation or afford this. You definitely are in a place of need, and it costs $0 to sit down somewhere and look at something that you enjoy, whether it's something in nature or watching a funny video, something that you can look at that helps take your mind off of the pressures. That is one of I was talking about the discomfort tolerance. Yes. Discomfort tolerance, distress tolerance. Two names, but they're both the same things. But we learn how not to let the discomfort of things overwhelm and overtake us, so we won't be afraid of our thoughts and our feelings. I remember my time of solitude. Hi. Hey, Dr. Wells. Earl, how's it going? Hey, Andrea. Hello. I wanted to say about the time that I remember when I first had this time of solitude when I first came into it. And I understood when solitude was becoming isolation. So, solitude for me, the best way I can describe my experience of it was like when you go and you prep for something, you get prepped for it before you go, like in the kitchen, like a chef will get all the ingredients and everything that they need. So then they can create this wonderful meal. That's how I felt with the time of solitude. It gave me time to be deposited into, to connect with myself, to understand what I wanted, to get some clarity about things, to process things mentally, to process them emotionally. Y'all, everybody is different. Your inner programming, your inner working, even your nervous system, the way you experience the world is different, is unique, is your fingerprint on your hand. Your handprint is that unique. How you are designed, how you are built, and the pathway that is here meant for you. So that solitude season helped to shape me. And I continue in moments and times of where I am with myself. I take myself out on dates so I can focus on things. I am looking at how to do my own personal retreat coming up before the year starts so I can really give myself time to, what do I want 2025 to look like? I've already thought about my word of the year, but I really wanted to spend time. I really will spend time, ooh, excuse me, working that out, fleshing those things out of my mind, putting it into an action plan, putting it into my calendar, and celebrating those moments. And sometimes, yeah, that takes a few hours, but I get so engrossed in the time when I do things like that. It's so enjoyable for me. And I come out just clear about things and just ready to move forward. And yes, sometimes these plans will change. Things will There will be pivot moments. There will be things that we did not see. But one thing that remains the same is your desire to go forward in those things. One thing that remains the same, well, another thing that remains the same is also understanding that everything that you want is available to you. And that's a fun place to be. It kind of opens you up because all of those, and I'm saying this because uh, I have challenges with perfectionism as well, and I have made plans and everything in the past. Like this is a whiteboard, not a whiteboard, but I'm trying to point to this, y'all, over on the wall there where I stopped just posting a whiteboard. I just would put paper on the wall, so that way it's like, okay, new plan. Let's, I take a picture of it or whatever, and I basically scrap it and throw it away because I understand that things change so they could fit me and fit my season and all the things that God has for me. We know things in pieces and in parts. If God gave us every single thing, that would probably make us fall out. Yeah, it would be much too wonderful for us. So, oh, I wanted to tell you about when I was saying I knew when the solitude was going into isolation because I had those negative feelings. I felt myself withdrawing from people versus welcoming people, or welcoming, opening myself up to people. So you start to feel it's like, okay, I need to be around people. I need to go be social. And I paid attention to that because I had to learn to listen to my body. And the only way I could do that was in a place of solitude. That's why I say, y'all, it's the healing for me. It's the healing for me. The healing that you go through. And even like I said, if you need support in those things, check out the resources that are available to you. Reach out to people who are skilled and qualified to help you heal through the process that you're looking for as well. That's my time, you all. Thank you so much for watching, for listening. Thank you for considering putting solitude in your daily life. I hope this is something that you will enjoy as much as I enjoy sharing it with you. And I'll see y'all in the next one.